Hi guys, what you got cooking? We've got an awesome lesson here looking at paper one, investigating small business, the GCSE Edexcel 9 to 1 business. Okay, so we're going to run through this nice and quickly, all right? But we're going to be practicing some of that technique as we go through this. So that you can really try and rehearse your answers and make sure you're really looking tip top. Okay, let's have a look see then. Okay, let's move that across over there. Now we're going to come straight into section B. Why are we coming into section B? Well, we're coming into section B because in doing so it means that we know every single question that we actually answer has to include application. So that focuses your mind on making sure you include the application. It's the most common error that is made by students on this paper. They do not include sufficient application, so don't let that be you. Secondly, students often spend way too long in section A, which actually you can complete in a flash, very, very quickly, like Speedy Gonzalez. So you want to get that section A done nice and quickly, leaving yourself plenty of time to do section B and C, which is a lot trickier, really. Okay, so we can see we've got this case study. So the first thing you want to do is just skim across this. What do we notice? We notice clear brand. We notice that they're bikes for kids and kids growing up. Okay, so therefore, in terms of the target audience, well, it's kind of children and parents. We notice they've got a bit of social media promotion here with the competition for a bike jersey. Very nice. Okay, so first question. So we don't read the case study because we don't want to spend time reading and then rereading the case study again and again. Because if you're reading, you're not writing. And if you're not writing, you're ultimately ruining your grade. So just move straight into the questions, okay? Having skimmed the pictures, because the pictures will give you a few key clues that you can use. So outline one market segment. So we can put down children. This is because they have small bikes which are the suitable size for kids. Something like that is going to get you 2 marks, okay? Because the picture clearly illustrated that some of the products are targeted directly at first-time bikers. So they may have just progressed from a balance bike or got off the stabilizers, you remember those, and so on, all right? So next question, however, is trickier. Okay, here we're going to want to include 3 pieces of application for 3 of the 6 marks. Analyze the impact on frog bikes using social media to promote its products. We saw that in the picture, okay? We want to make sure that we develop 5 connected sentences which help us to gain top-level marks for AO3 analysis. So analyze the impact means that it can be positive, it can be negative. Right, so therefore, let's have a look at the actual case study now, okay? Because it's now really a bit more appropriate to actually read the case study. Okay, so what you may want to do is just do a business market case study analysis, write down some points, pause the video on this screen and run through all of the points you can come out with. Remember that SCOPA approach, strengths and weaknesses. What strengths, what weaknesses can you spot in the business model? Okay, what about costs and revenue? What sort of costs they face? How do they actually earn money? Where does that revenue come from? What are those different revenue streams? Then you've got the operations of the business. We can see that they mention something about a Chinese factory here. Okay, so that's nice. What about the market positioning of the business against some of its competitors? And finally, who's the audience? Okay, so make a little list of those points right here, right now. Great stuff. So let's now make sure we've got a good answer to this question here. Analyze the impact on frog bikes using social media to promote its products. Okay, so again, as we said, you could go for a drawback, you could go for a benefit. Well, there's a variety of points, of course, that you could actually make here. Okay, and let's have a look at the actual mark scheme to confirm these. So Here we go. I'll just move this across a little. Okay, so right, we've got the outline question here for 4A, okay, and other potential examples of suitable responses. Notice 2 marks for each of those, and here is the second point for this analyze question. So examples of AO2 here, your application, examples of AO3 here and here. Now notice top level, it says that there must be interconnected points, and we know those interconnected points must total 5 for you to reach this top band, okay? And at the same time, you need detailed application. To me, detailed application is going to mean that you're going to need 3 examples through this answer, okay? So by all means, have a go practicing that question now. So identify a benefit or a drawback. This is because this leads to, therefore, moreover, consequently. Love it. Right, let's move it on. So now we're into to calculate questions. Using the information table to calculate 2 decimal places, make sure it is 2 decimal places, therefore that you put your answer down. The value of total payments as percentage of receipts. So total payments we can see here, 700. Receipts we can see here. So 700 divided by 1200 times 100, well, what does that give you? Okay, so about what, 58% or so. Okay, and then next one, using the information in table 2, calculate the net cash flow for April. You're advised to show your workings. So here we can see money coming in, here we can see money going out. So it's going to be 1200 minus 700. So it's therefore going to be 500. All right. Now, notice I didn't give my answer to 2 decimal places. So let's have a look, see what we've got. Yeah, there we go. All right, lovely. That's looking good. Super. Let's move it on through this paper now then. Right. Okay, so we're into our next analyze question now. So what do we need to do? What was that structure again? Can you remember? How are we going to go about this? Again, it's saying analyze the impacts. This means you can do a benefit, you can do a drawback. Analyze the impact on frog bikes of the legislation it has to comply with when producing and selling its bikes. Remember, it was talking about ISO legislation, it was talking about chain guards, making sure that handlebars are safe for kids and so on. So those points are all really apparent, and you could go one or two ways with this answer. You could focus on the fact that it's going to increase the business's costs, or you could focus on the fact that actually it's going to help strengthen their brand image because their bikes are well made. Okay, ID, BLT plus MC, okay, plus 3 pieces of application necessary there. Okay, let's have a look at the mark scheme. Owners of frog bikes operate in a competitive market. Rivals such as, who was it, J.E. James, Halfords. Okay, by having to meet all safety requirements, frog bikes costs will be higher. Yep, nice. Okay, establish strong reputation with its market segments. Higher costs, yeah, lovely. Okay, so again, fairly straightforward, but you've got to know those structures well. So let's now move it into question 6 now. State one impact on frog bikes of having growing demand for its products. So you might focus on the need to actually increase the factory's capacity, i.e. that it can produce more bikes, okay? You might focus on the fact that they need to make sure that they manage their supply chain effectively or have effective logistical practices, i.e. the transportation of their products from their Chinese factory. And our second one here, outline one benefit to Jerry and Shelley of frog bikes being successful. So what is that benefit? Well, again, there's a wide variety of points that you could bring into that one. It could be about personal satisfaction. It could be about personal financial gains that have actually been achieved by the entrepreneurs as well. So examples for each of these are included here and here. Okay. Just remember, you need to extend your point to get 2 marks on these outline questions. you need to extend that. So you've got to identify a point and say, this is because, okay. All right, so let's have a look at our first justify question then. Right, so Frog Bikes considering two options to produce more bikes. One, build a new factory in the UK. Two, expand production at the Chinese factory. Justify which of these two options Frog Bikes should choose. So paragraph 1, choose your preferred option. Choose that preferred option, identify the benefit of that preferred option, then go into this is because this leads to, therefore, moreover, consequently. Okay, make sure you include two pieces of application in that paragraph. Yeah, it's so formulaic, this, it really is. But if you get to know these formulaic responses that the examiners want, you can absolutely crush this exam, guys. Believe in every single one of you. So, you know, no reason why you can't perform really, really well here. Okay, so then you've got to produce your counter argument. Your counter argument is then going to say, right, identify a strength of the alternative or a downside of your preferred option and say, this is because this leads to, therefore, plus a piece of application, all right? And then finally, you're going to finish with that aim judgment. Answer the question, it depends upon, most importantly, okay? So if you can do that, you'll be able to pull out some absolutely superb points that the examiner will just be wowed by, all right? So here we are, AO2, okay, we got our AO3A stuff here and our evaluative points for AO3B here, okay? Love it. Let's move it along. So next one, okay, right, so good and proper T. We got another case study. Again, don't make that mistake though of just reading the case study, okay? Go straight into these because you get short answer questions and you don't need to read the case study yet, okay? Really. State one example of a fixed cost that good and proper T needs to pay. Okay, so just coming back to this, what can we actually pick up here? So converted old Citroen van. Okay, lovely. Well, it could be road tax on the Citroen van. That's a nice example of a fixed cost. It's a one-off cost paid each year, although it can be broken down into monthly payments, actually. So that's a nice example. You cannot just put like the rent on the shop. Like the assistant principal examiner was saying, no, you would not get a mark for that. Okay, seems a little bit harsh, but they didn't deem that such an answer would have sufficient application. So that application is really important. Identify the year in which the price of tea increased by the greatest amount. Okay, so where do we see that greatest increase in the price of tea? Well, it's clearly like 2009, where it goes like so. Okay, right, then we've got a 2-mark application. Outline one impact of changing levels of consumer incomes on good and proper tea. Okay, so changing levels of consumer incomes. Well, this could mean that there's increased demand for luxury products if incomes are rising. A good and proper tea, well, it's a luxury product, so you've got to get that application in there, okay? So therefore, there might be more demand for luxury tea products. Okay, so what do we got? Rent on a parking space, okay? Insurance on the van, okay, right. Salary, 2009, and then we've got, yeah, that's pretty much what I said there, okay? So, nice one. All right, that's looking okay, isn't it? Now, what do we got next? We've got a 9-marker. Okay, so that's where we do need to actually really focus in on the actual case study and understand what's going on here. So again, you may just want to do a little BMC analysis of this case study. Okay, so go have a blast right now. Right, so let's get back to this then. Let's take a look at this justify question. So to reduce the impact of its rising cost, good and property, considering two options: buy cheaper ingredients Well, that doesn't make sense to me, okay, because that's hardly good and proper, is it? Okay, and it's got to fit with the brand name, surely. Charging higher prices for its tea. And think about the location where they're actually serving customers. It's not as if it's an area of very, very poor economic activity, is it? It's a very prosperous part of the country, of course. Okay, so this has got to be the one to go for, surely. So therefore, you've got to make sure you pick out your clear benefit of that. You identify it and then say, this is because this leads to, therefore, moreover, consequently, include 2 pieces of application. Have a go at that now. Right, having done that, you then got to look at the counter argument. What's the downside of this? Well, it could be the volatility of the actual price of tea. We saw it going up and down, didn't we? Okay, and that may mean that Emily's ongoing costs may actually need to rise further. Okay, so that could be an issue, or alternatively, it could be that she loses some of her market share, or some of her customers who can't afford such a luxury product anymore. So, you know, there's a variety of ways that you've got to go with that. So identify a downside of this or a strength of this. Why might this be better? Well, she'd be able to be more price competitive for one. Okay, so ID BLT plus a piece of application, please. All right, and then finish it off with an aim judgment. Okay, answer the question, justify your answer. It depends upon, and most importantly. All right, lovely job. So before I move on, I'll just show you the mark scheme there. Okay, so we can have a little goosey gander at that. Now, right, here it is. Okay, so AO2, AO3A, AO3B. Love it. Let's just come down to 9 marks, just in case you're interested in the top band information. So 5 connected sentences on that first paragraph, please. 2 pieces of application in it. The second paragraph should include a counter argument with some application. Your judgment must include a little bit of application again and the aim structure, okay? And that's going to get you 9 marks if you do it well, okay? All right, lovely. Let's now have a look at 12 marker. Okay, so the big bad with the GCSE Edexcel papers. Okay, so evaluate whether crowdfunding is an effective source of finance for good and proper tea. You should use the information provided as well as your own knowledge of business. Okay, so we saw that she had used crowdfunding a couple of times. She had generated money from Crowdcube, okay, which gives away equity, a share of the business. But in addition, there's another crowdfunder as well, Kickstarter, where you don't have to give away equity or a share of the business. You give away products to encourage investment, okay? So that's another way that you could go about this. First thing you've got to do, though, is you've got to define what crowdfunding is and say how Emily's used it, okay? That's where I'd start off with. Then go into what the benefits of this actually is. ID, BLT plus MC, include some application there. Another 1 piece of application will be sufficient. Then your counter argument, your ID, BLT plus your application. Then your aim judgment. Okay, so you answer the question, it depends upon, and your most important factor, together with some further application. And once again, you know, you'll be looking good for getting sort of a really, really high score. It's really interesting seeing the exam board's exemplar of a 12-mark answer, because it just fitted what I've been saying about doing this all along. So, you know, it's really nice for me to see that and make sure that we're bang on the dollar here in terms of making sure that you guys are going to write tip-top answers every time. All right, so here you can see the breakdown of points for AO1, AO2, AO3, AO3B. This AO1B, it's just knowledge and understanding, okay? So it's about business understanding, so i.e. that you're making a coherent and logical answer, okay? So it's a little bit more subjective, but it's about the terms that you actually incorporate in your answers and so on, all right? Okay, love it. So we've now done the tough stuff. So let's now zip back to section A. We can see these multiple choice questions. Okay, have a go at those now. I'm not going to spend any time on those now. Okay, I'll just put the answers up in a second. Explain one benefit to a small business carrying out market research. So question is, can you answer that question, that 1C question, in 9 words or less? 9 words or less. You wouldn't be able to do it in less than 9 words. I've never seen anything less than 9 words, okay? But certainly some of my students can write 3-mark answers in 9 words. Go on, give it a crack. Okay, so here's multiple choice answers, okay, and here's a couple of example responses that are provided. They're quite wordy though. They don't need to be as wordy as that, okay? So one benefit to a small business carrying out market research. So what could that benefit be? Understand customer needs. Leads to what? Well, if you understand your customer needs better, then it leads to you developing a better product. Okay, therefore business survival is more likely. I don't know, what's that, 13, 14 words? Okay, so you're not my best. Did you manage to do anything better than that? I'd love to see it if you did. Okay, great stuff. Let's move it on. We've got another explain question because we've got 6 of these and they're absolute gimmies when you get good at them, all right? So explain one impact on a small business of operating in a competitive environment. Okay, so it may be that they then need to differentiate their products. Okay, they need to differentiate themselves. So yeah, you can simply put that down, okay? Or it could be that you actually go the other way and you go for competitive pricing. So there's 2 ways of actually responding to a competitive environment: focusing on differentiation or focusing on price competition, all right? So you've got to go in one of those 2 ways. And you could look at that as a benefit, or you could look at it as a sort of drawback, all right? And again, can you answer that in 9 words or less? So what could I say? Needs to differentiate, leads to clear reason for purchase, therefore consumers are more likely to be loyal to brand, something like that. God, that's not 9 words though. Sometimes I can do it, but I have to think about them quite hard. So, you know, don't worry about the number of words so much here. Just keep it short. That's all I'm saying. And certainly don't extend your answers beyond the 3rd line here. Why they give you so much is almost encouraging those students to write the question out again, and you don't want to be that student who just rewrites each question. Okay, right, so we got some more multiple choice questions here. So there's the answer. Well, hang on, I haven't given you a chance to have a go at those. Okay, but we've got which 2 of the following are examples of cash inflows? Okay, so we've got A and C, bank loans, yeah, of course, receipts, bank loans, yeah, you've got to pay loan repayment, but the loan itself, when it first comes in, you know, it's a nice bit of cash deposited in your account, isn't it? And then we've got B and E. Okay, so starting a business, sole trader, full decision making, any profits can be kept by the owner. Yeah, how lovely, how joyous. Right, okay, so next one, we've got some calculate question. Okay, so calculate the profit for this business. Your advice to show you're working. Okay, lovely. Okay, so we can see that we've got fixed costs, we've got variable costs, we've got price. What's the easiest way of doing this? Well, the easiest way of actually doing this is to take price minus the variable cost. So that gives you £90. And then if you do 90 times 270, so 200 minus 110, that's your unit contribution, price minus variable cost. So you got £90 times 270 equals, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but then you subtract this fixed costs, okay? And that'll give you your profit, and it'll be exactly the same answer as that. If you don't believe me, try it out. Okay, right. Explain one benefit to an entrepreneur of starting a business, private limited company. Okay, our private limited company, it offers limited liability. So offers limited liability. Leads to, well, what does that then mean? It leads to more likely to take risks to expand the business. That's 3 marks actually. Okay, so yeah, that would do quite nicely. Look how short that was. All right, so again, don't spend ages on this. You can see potential answers over here. All right, but don't repeat the question and don't write beyond this point here. Okay, so 3 sentences and that's enough. Right, let's keep going. Another explain question. One way an entrepreneur might identify a new business idea. Well, they might use a market map. So use market map leads to identifying gap in market. Therefore, business is differentiated. How short and sweet is that? But that's 3 out of 3, guys. Absolutely crushing it, hey? Okay, let's just show you the mark scheme to show you the variety of responses that you could include there, okay? There's 2 other potential answers here, okay? Love it. We've got a multiple choice question here. Give that a quick bash. Let's have a look at the answer. Okay, we've got C. Okay, then we're on to a calculate question. Okay. So using the information, calculate the percentage increase in revenue between Jan and March. Okay, so we can see we've got to do change divided by the original. Okay, so the original is 5,000. The change goes up to 7,000. So it's 2,000 divided by 5,000 times 100. Whoop, there it is. Okay, so love it. Now, explain one way in which social media can be used to collect market research data. Well, it could be a little poll on Twitter, okay? A little survey, that works, doesn't it? Okay, so you can put surveys, use of surveys, or just surveys. That'll get you 1 mark, okay? What does that then lead to? Consumers choosing a preferred product, recipe, whatever. Therefore, business caters to customer needs better. Okay, absolutely fine. One possible objective of employees within a business, well, they might want a number of things. They might want job security. They might want decent wages. They might want fringe benefits, okay, i.e. little perks of the business, okay, can offer like company cars, healthcare, gym memberships, and so on, okay. So, yeah, you know, here's 2 more suggested answers there. All right, love it. Final question now, guys. Discuss the benefit to a business of using e-commerce. So ID, BLT plus MC, you need 5 connected sentences here. Must be all coherent with good use of terminology, business terminology, and you can get 6 out of 6 on these really quite easily. So what is a benefit? Well, it gives them a larger target audience that they can actually reach. This is because this leads to, therefore, moreover, consequently. Let's have a look at what the mark scheme said here. Right, so it could be that, yeah, your costs are lower, fine, okay, increased reach of the business, can sell beyond the immediate locality, increase potential profitability, fine. All right, we get the idea. Guys, I hope that's been helpful. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Can't wait to see you again. See ya.